An audio check for the Fox 19 Now live streaming weather show. I'm putting on my microphone, so it might sound a little scratchy from your end at the present time. And we're also having a little trouble with our weather computer. Let's try that again. There we go. All right. Okay, find my glasses, turn on the studio lights, and I will be right with you, everybody. This is meteorologist Steve Horstmeyer. Now, on Friday, we had a computer configuration blow up, and I couldn't reconfigure it in about 5 minutes, and so we ended up having to cancel the 7:15 show. So if you were trying on Friday to watch, I apologize, but we are here live right now, and okay, let's see what we got. All right, so let's go ahead first of all, and let's see. I've got audio levels here. Everything's looking right. All right, I hope you can see me. Now I'm turning on Roku and the others. Okay, so what we're looking at here is we are looking at downtown Cincinnati from about 4.5 miles away in South Fairmont on our tower cam. And you can see a few high thin clouds. It is a beautiful, beautiful looking evening around the tri-state. And we are in for some really nice weather for outdoor activities. Now, let me kind of qualify that. It is really dry around the tri-state, even places that got rain. Now, we got a lot of rain over the weekend at my house. Tinder dry this morning. It just looks like it didn't rain at all. And I know a number of the people that watch this show and contribute comments and questions in that have said that their farm ponds or their ponds are drying up. That watering doesn't seem to do much good. And unfortunately, the downside of really nice weather coming our way is really dry weather also. And it looks like it's going to be a 2-week stretch. And we'll go into all that coming up here in a couple of minutes. But overall, it looks warm. It looks like we're heading back to the 90s. Now, the good news is the 90s that we have coming our way at the end of the 7-day and the beginning of beyond the 7-day, they are 90s without the oppressive humidity. It's going to be more humid than it is now. It's going to be uncomfortably humid, but it's not going to be that sultry kind of dangerous humidity that makes your body heat up really, really fast. So let's go ahead and get started talking about what is going on around here. And 75 degrees, that's the current temperature at the International Airport. And as you look at the satellite radar loop, there's just nothing out there. Okay, just a few puffy clouds and that's it. As we zoom out, you can go all the way back to the mountains and the high plains and go to western Nebraska, there's some precipitation. From Denver into eastern Colorado, there's some precipitation, but there's just nothing coming our way for a while. And unfortunately, even if we do get some rain, that rain does not look like it's going to be reliable. Now, for those of you heading down to Paycor Stadium on Thursday, the Bengals preseason game starts at 8 p.m. They're playing the Indianapolis Colts. Looks like it'll be 77 for tailgating with low humidity. Great day. 73 at kickoff, 68 at halftime, and then dropping into the low 60s by the end of the game. So a perfect evening for football in Cincinnati. And if you can't go down there and you want to watch what's going on, it's available for free on Fox 19 Now. Okay, airport temperatures at 7 o'clock in the 70s with the exception of Washington Courthouse, where it's 68. Beautiful when it's in the 70s and the humidity's low and there's a nice little bit of a breeze. It is gorgeous out there, and if you've got plans to go out this evening, it's going to be great. There's just really nothing wrong with that, and you don't often get weather like this in the summer in the Cincinnati area. And if we look at the heat index values, let me go back to the temperatures and pick a couple. CVG is 75, actual temperature. Hamilton 76, and Maysville 74. And if you look at the heat index values, the same at CVG, the same at Hamilton, the same at Maysville. So with lower humidity, the heat index is not a factor out there right now. Okay, now what we're looking at here on this map, this is the nice air that's come our way out of Canada. Here's the really sultry air, and this is kind of in between. This would be kind of normal what we get. And this is a little drier than normal. So low humidity. Now remember, when we're talking about low humidity, we're talking about water vapor. Okay, evaporated water, and water vapor is a greenhouse gas. Okay, now what that means is that it's fairly transparent to incoming solar radiation, but it's not opaque, but it absorbs a lot, or it doesn't let a lot of the Earth radiation out. Sun's radiation is from a hotter source, so it's a shorter wavelength, and it can penetrate the carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, the longer wave, cooler radiation coming off the Earth gets absorbed by the carbon dioxide, and it can't escape as easily. I mean, some of it actually does escape, but it can't. So you've probably heard about that in discussions about climate and all that, but if we're just talking about day-to-day weather, humid nights are usually warmer than less humid nights because of the greenhouse effect. So as we've got low humidity or low water vapor content of the atmosphere, whenever we're in this blue shade, a lot more heat in the form of radiation can escape to space, and that's why it gets cooler. And so that's what we've got going on. So let me put this back to full screen, and we will see what happens with the blue. Okay, now the blue isn't in any hurry to leave. Watch this; it gets bigger and stronger as we just sit here in the tri-state, and then it begins to pull out of the area as we head into the weekend. So by Sunday at 2:50 p.m., we're kind of on the edge of the blue, so it's getting a little bit more humid. The real sticky stuff isn't here yet, but overall, we've got some nice weather coming our way, with the exception that we don't get the rain that we need. And then you can see as we head into next week, we do begin to get some pretty sticky stuff in there, but not until we get into late Tuesday. But you saw there was a lack of rainfall there. So here's what it looks like as we're looking at the Muggy meter. You can see the yellow lines about as low as it can go on that graph. So humidity's dropping off overnight. Tomorrow, down to very comfortable levels. Same thing for Wednesday, same thing for Thursday. Friday, still in the comfy zone. And then we just make it into the bit humid or a little bit uncomfortable levels as we head into Saturday and the weekend. So even though it's going to warm up, we're going to make it to 90. We're not going to have the sultry or oppressive, or as you see on that graphic there, the stifling humidity that we have had in the recent past around the tri-state. So it's good news in that it's going to be hot, but it's not going to be that sticky hot. Now, again, the other part of this is you can use this weather information. Let's say you're planning on putting a new roof on your house. Well, this would be a great time to do it because there's no threat of rain. So if you do it yourself, you got some extra time, or if you have roofers do it, they're not going to get interrupted, or they're not going to have everything pulled off the roof and have a big downpour. So that's one of the ways you can use that weather information. But again, we need the rain, and we just don't have much in the forecast. So right now it's 75 at the International Airport. Temperatures drop to 66 by 11 p.m. We're talking about sunset at 8:29. What we're looking at then is a pretty decent evening with just a few patches of cloud cover, but for the most part, I would call it mostly clear around the tri-state. Overnight, we drop to 55. Now, 6:55 is when the sun comes up, but 55 degrees is the forecast low there, and it's going to be even cooler tomorrow morning, or Wednesday morning and tomorrow morning, and we'll see a few spots tomorrow morning, especially valleys, drop into the 40s for a short time, and then Wednesday morning, even more areas will drop into the 40s. As a matter of fact, one of the models we have has almost everybody in the 40s. And then as we head through the day tomorrow, remember, because the air is clear without a lot of humidity, see, if you remember, water vapor molecules have a negative charged end and a positive charged end. I'm not going to go into the reasons why, but so water vapor molecules, since they have negative charges that are exposed, positive charges that are exposed, the positive end of a water molecule can attract something else that has a negative charge. Okay, and so what happens is at a microscopic level, you get clumping of all these little molecules because of the electrical charges, and that cuts down on the visibility because a clump of several molecules blocks more light than individual molecules out there. And so whenever you have low humidity, you don't have as much of that clumping in the atmosphere, and what you end up with is a very clear, transparent air, and that leads to strong UV incidence. And so if you're a person that is fair-skinned, let's say redheads, and that you're especially prone to sunburn, be careful about this. And of course, everybody, sunscreen is the best thing to do because all the evidence we have says that skin cancer is a cumulative thing. In other words, depending upon your particular health, your particular immune system, your skin type and all that. It just kind of builds until it can lead to skin cancer. So that's that. So for the morning commute, dry roads, a little bit of sun glare, and temperatures in the low to mid 50s around the tri-state. Tomorrow's high about 74 with low humidity. It will be another ideal day in the tri-state. Okay, here's what the Climate Prediction Center says about the 6 to 10 day outlook that goes on out to the 29th of the month. A little bit cooler than normal in the northern Rockies, and then hot over the middle part of the country. And notice we are kind of included in that hot. That's where the 90s come from. All right. As we head out to the 2nd of September, it stays warmer than normal. The really hot stuff kind of dissipates, but we stay warmer than normal, and that cooler than normal kind of warms up to near normal. And then here's what the outlook looks like through the 13th of September. It stays warmer than normal in the tri-state. Now remember, if it's warmer than normal, that means our moisture needs, our rainfall needs are higher than normal, because warmer than normal weather leads to more than normal evaporation from the soil, and you need more rainfall to make up for that. Unfortunately, when you get warmer than normal weather like this, you get less than normal rainfall, and so it's dry now. It's probably going to be drier by the time we get to the first few days of September. And here's what the Climate Prediction Center says. We are not far from the bullseye of drier than normal weather. So most of the Fox 19 Now viewing area, drier than normal through the 29th of the month. And that is not good news. And it looks drier than normal, not quite as dry. It begins to back off a little bit, but it's still drier than normal. And since we need more rainfall than normal to make up for the deficit and to accommodate the hotter than normal temperatures, it looks like we're just going to fall further and further behind as we head through the next couple of weeks. Okay, so, and then, of course, back on Friday, they released this. They said near normal precipitation, and that's better than less than normal, but it's not enough to make up for the dry conditions. So if you've got a pond that's drying up, it's not going to get much help from rainfall over the next couple of weeks. Here's your 7-day forecast, and excuse me for a second. I have got to take a quick swig of Diet Mountain Dew here. Okay. All right. So 74, 75 for tomorrow and Wednesday. Now notice Wednesday morning's low temperature, 50. If it's 50 at the International Airport, and these are all forecast for the official temperature around here, that means many valley areas will dip into the 40s. So I'm thinking that we'll see some temperatures as low as 46 or 47 for a couple hours Wednesday morning, especially in rural valleys off to the north. So if you live up, let's say, in the Whitewater River Valley in Indiana, if you live up in the Great Miami River Valley, the Little Miami River Valley up north of the city, you're likely to see a number of spots with temperatures in the 40s Wednesday morning. 52 and 81 for Thursday, up to 87 on Friday, Saturday and Sunday and Monday in the 90s, but without the really sultry humidity. Now, remember, I said it's going to be humid here. I mean, it's going to be more humid than it is now on these 3 days, but it's not going to be that really sultry high values where the heat index makes it up to the 100-degree mark or higher. So we are talking about a warming trend. We're talking about hot, dry weather without a lot of humidity. Here's what happens in beyond the 7-day forecast. Okay, and you can see another 90 there on Tuesday the 27th, upper 80s for a couple days, 92 and 91 for the 30th and 31st, and then dropping off by the 2nd into the upper 80s again. But here's the important takeaway from this, is even though we have 3 days on this graph, this one has a little rain falling, and this one just has the raindrop with the question mark in it. Those are each day, that means a chance of rainfall. It's the summer kind of rainfall. In the winter, we get these big storms, and we've got hundreds of thousands of square miles that are covered with rain all at one time. Well, in the summer, it's more typically pop-up showers here and there, or a quick line of showers and thunderstorms, and that's what we're looking at. We're looking at pop-up stuff here, the kind of rainfall you probably can't rely on getting your garden, your lawn, or your pond more full because it's hit and miss stuff. Okay, and so I'm thinking that through this 7-day stretch, we'll probably see less than a quarter inch of rain. Okay, so if you get a 1/4 inch of rain, you're probably on the lucky side. If you don't, you're probably like most of the other people. So with no rain in the 7-day forecast, with less than a 1/4 inch in beyond the 7-day, that's a 2-week stretch with less than a 1/4 inch of rainfall. And in this stretch of time, we need about 1.5 inches. The 2-week stretch, we needed about 1.5 inches of rain to keep up with what we've got. And probably actually more than that, probably 2.5 inches of rainfall to keep up and to keep it from getting drier and drier. So it's looking like it's going to stay dry. Now, if you remember, if you were watching way back in May, we started talking about the summer forecast and mentioned that when you transition from an El Nino winter, that's where the equator in the Pacific Ocean has warmer than normal temperatures of the water, and it affects the entire global circulation. When you transition from that, from the El Nino to the La Nina, which is the opposite, has colder than normal water along the equator, which also affects the global circulation, that typically the Cincinnati area and mainly the Midwest and a good portion of the eastern United States has a drier and warmer than normal summer, and that's exactly what's happening right now. And that's happened in about 85% of the El Nino. When we transition from El Nino to La Nina, 85 to 90% of the time, this is what happens. Okay, so here's your summary graphic of the next 14 days. There are the high temperatures, there are the low temperatures. We'll put on the normal, and notice the normal is decreasing now, and we kind of get above normal on the 23rd to 24th, and we stay there to the 2nd of the month. And so above normal temperatures means we need more rain than normal, and we're not going to get that. So I'm afraid it's just going to get drier and drier and drier as we go through the next couple of weeks. Okay, so let me take a look at what's going on here on Facebook, see if anybody's got any questions or comments. Start back at the beginning. Melvin Stone Street says hello. Said he knows it's going to be hot. Oh, did you have a good weekend? Melvin, I had a good weekend, but it was a weekend of work because, remember, we're the official weather provider for the Reds, and we had rain threatened both days, Saturday and Sunday, and so it was really busy. I mean, I had, between Saturday and Sunday, I had a total of over 100 communications with the Reds, either sending them a little map of where the rain was going or talking to them on the phone. So it was busy, but it was a good weekend because I'm a meteorologist and I like to do what I like to do. Yeah, Molly Purcell Pollock says hello, and it feels good outside today. And she says they still need the rain. And Molly's up there around Stone Lake Township. So that is, yeah, it's nice out there, Molly, but yeah, you do need the rain, and I'm sure that those, because part of Highland County, remember, the eastern part of Highland County was in severe drought, and most of the rest of us were drier than normal or moderate drought, so it's not going to get any better here in the near future. So, okay, Sharon Steer. Absolutely beautiful out there right now. Yeah, I know, Sharon. I wish I was off so I could sit on my deck, talk to my wife, and have a beer or something, but got to work. Got to pay the bills. Lorraine Berry. I'm not sure what you said there, Lorraine. Always love the something. Okay. No, Molly Purcell Pollock wants to know that there was a kind of white, fluffy cloud last night. Kind of looked like a tornado cloud. I didn't see it, but I saw some pictures of other stuff. And so it was probably the rest of the rain and that was coming down out of the north. And oftentimes you get cumulus clouds and that, and you can kind of ragged bottom. So it's probably what we would call cumulus congestus. In other words, cumulus that are pretty big and angry looking, and may end up causing a shower. So, okay, that is it. There are no more questions or comments right now. I'm sure that most of you are out enjoying the weather, so if you look at this later on, you can see it always on Facebook later on, and we now save it on YouTube, so you can see it there if you want to look back in the past. So if you're looking at this after airtime, and right now as I'm talking, it's 7:35. So if you're looking at it after when we were live, I'm glad you were out enjoying the weather. That's where you should be, because all this information you can pick up since it's recorded and archived. Okay, let me go over to the forecast one more time. Then I'll check Facebook another time, and then we'll shut her down for the night. Let's see here. Okay, so usually what I do, and I just kind of skipped a spot today. Oh, and I also wanted to mention that if you try to watch on Friday, Friday we had a computer meltdown. I tried to be able to, and Facebook wouldn't even let me log on manually by typing in all my information. So by the time I got to 7:30, I was just hopeless. I couldn't go anywhere. So that got fixed over the weekend. That's why I'm on now. So I apologize if you tried to watch Friday and get the information about that. It was because we had computer issues. Maybe it was Steve issues, not treating the computer well or something. I don't know. But yeah, we had issues. So I apologize for that, because we like this to be on Monday through Friday so that you can count on getting the weather information that you need. Okay, how far back do I want to go? Okay, I'm going to go back to the overnight forecast. Okay, then I'll put it full screen here in a second. All right, sun's up tomorrow morning at 6:55. Low temperatures forecast to be 55. That'll be about 8 a.m. And that means that's cool enough for some of those rural valleys to dip quickly into the 40s. So if you're out early in the morning and you live in a rural area in a low spot and it feels kind of chilly, that's because it probably is pretty chilly. All right, and so for those of you that have to commute tomorrow morning, roads will be dry, so no problem with that, but watch out for that sun glare. With low humidity in the air is pretty transparent. The solar radiation you can get through, and especially when it's at that low angle in your face, it can be pretty intense. And temperatures in the low to mid 50s, a few spots in the upper 40s. Then we bounce back to a high of about 74. That's 11 degrees cooler than normal. With low humidity, should be an absolutely gorgeous day. Climate Prediction Center says that most of the areas between the Rockies and the East Coast will be warmer to hotter than normal. We're in the hot zone on that, and so as we head through the 25th of August, count on hot weather to continue, but not exceedingly humid. It'll be a bit more humid than it is right now, but it won't be that real stifling, sultry stuff. Okay, then for the forecast that goes through the 2nd of September, we still are warmer than normal, and we are warmer than normal again through the 13th of September. Precipitation-wise, this is the bad news. It looks like it's going to be drier than normal, not just a little bit drier than normal, but quite a bit. It's going to stay drier than normal through the 2nd of September, and then only get better to about normal through the 13th of September. So that tells you, with warmer than normal weather, with precipitation just slightly below normal, it's not going to get any better. You're going to have to continue to water that lawn and that garden. And your 7-day forecast looks like this. 55 and 74 for Tuesday, 50 and 75 for Wednesday, up into the 80s for Thursday and Friday, then into the 90s for Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Those 90s will not be accompanied by the really high humidity. It'll be just kind of normal humidity, so it'll be hot. You'll feel the humidity, but it won't be where you walk out and think, oh my gosh, what am I doing to myself? All right, so that's the 7-day. If we go to beyond the 7-day forecast, notice it really doesn't cool off much. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 out of 7 days in the 90s. The humidity still not that stifling kind of humidity. We've got 3 days with the chance of a little bit of rainfall, but it looks like the total for that 7-day stretch will only be a 1/4 inch or less. In most areas, and that's spotty, 1/4 inch or less spotty rainfall, so most areas don't see rain. And so for that 14-day stretch, which ends on the 2nd of September, little or no rainfall in the tri-state. And then here is beyond the summary graphic for temperatures, and you can see high temperatures warmer than normal, low temperatures warmer than normal, so we enter the month of September warmer than normal around the tri-state. So that's it. Let me check one more time quickly on what's going on Facebook, see if we have any more questions or comments. I don't know, it seems like it blew up. Here we go again. Oh, okay, so let's see. Nikki Witt said, She says she did look for it Friday and wondered what happened. And again, I apologize, Nikki. I came in here in plenty of time to log in on that. Everything was just kind of crazy, and I reset everything, tried it, didn't work. I rebooted it, didn't work. So I apologize. And it says she wanted to see what it would be, and glad we got it fixed. Okay. And Nikki, thanks for watching. Aaron Ross. He says, thank you. Okay, Aaron, you're welcome. Ashley Clark, how are dew points going to be throughout September? Okay, Aaron, Ashley, that's a nice question, and there's a really good answer to that. First of all, I'm trying to see if I'm on camera here or not. Okay, there. So first of all, when we get into September, we typically begin to see the very warm and humid air kind of withdrawal to the south, the seasonal, change, because the cold air in September is already building up in northern Canada. It begins to push a little bit further south. That pushes the humid air further south. So just climatologically, or if you prefer historically, the humidity is not as high in September. It can get high and stifling for a couple days, but it typically doesn't last long in September. If we get hot, it's typically hot and dry kind of weather. And so just based on historical past, we're probably looking at dew points that are about like they are now, or maybe a little higher. And kind of that's what the models are implying. So I don't think we see any summertime humidity again as we head through the month of September. So, and that's it. So that's all the comments and questions. I hope you got some information that you found useful. We certainly aim to do that. So thanks for watching. I'll be on again tomorrow, and we'll have more on how long it looks like it's going to be hot, how humid it's going to get as we head into the weekend, all that stuff. And again, don't forget, starting at noon tomorrow, there's a half hour, or actually it's 20 minutes, 20-minute live streaming weather program you can catch in the same spot you catch this one. Tomorrow at 7:15, and then over the weekends, Saturday mornings at 11 and Sunday, Saturday and Sunday at 11 a.m., Saturday and Sunday at 6 p.m., Saturday and Sunday morning with meteorologist Ashley Smith, Saturday and Sunday evening with meteorologist Ethan Emery. I think, though, Ethan is out of town this weekend, and so one of those days you'll be seeing me doing the weather for the weekend. So that is it. That's everything. Thank you for joining me. Have yourself a nice night, and come back tomorrow if you can.